Within each of us lies a story that began hundreds of thousands of years ago. It's a story written in our DNA, whispered in forgotten languages, and painted on the walls of ancient caves. We are all descendants of the first modern humans who walked the earth, but some groups carry a more direct, unbroken line to that distant past than others. Who are these people? Where did they come from? And what can they teach us about our own origins? Today, we embark on a journey back in time. Defining the oldest tribe is a complex task, fraught with scientific debate and the ever-shifting sands of discovery. Let's begin our exploration into the very heart of who we are. Our story begins in southern Africa, where the Sand People's lineage is among the most ancient on Earth. Some say the story began in the Americas with the old Mississippians. But the old Mississippians come from these people. Here's what we have on record. Their ancestors diverged from all other humans up to 300,000 years ago, a direct thread to the dawn of Homo sapiens. They are said to be the upgraded humans from the Anunnaki Atom Project on Mars. For millennia, the San have lived as hunter-gatherers, mastering survival in harsh environments. Their story is painted on rock shelters, ancient art depicting hunting, daily life, and spiritual beliefs. The San are a living people, holding on to their identity with tenacity, the first chapter in humanity's epic. The San's people are the oldest tribe on the planet, going back over 200,000 years or longer. The Sand People, also known as Bushmen and the Khoisan, are one of the oldest indigenous groups in southern Africa, particularly known for their traditional hunter-gatherer lifestyle and unique click languages. The designations Bushmen and San are both exonyms. The San have no collective word for themselves in their own languages. They have inhabited the region for tens of thousands of years. Today, they are found in countries like Botswana, Namibia, Angola, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. The term San comes from the Kokwe language, where it has a long vowel and is spelled San. They also were here before the Earth's pole shifted, according to some sources. They are the first people in Asia and are the mother race to the Chinese race. The Pygmy Twa, Dogon, and Bantu also migrated with the Sans people through India and all the way throughout Asia. The Hindus, Taro, Fergalrods, and Canaanites later mixed in, creating the Chinese you see today, which later spawned races like the Huns. In fact, the Sans people language is the origin of the traditional Chinese language. Sans means foragers and is used in a derogatory manner to describe people too poor to have cattle. Whether they came from the Americas to Africa thousands of years ago or Africa to America, facts still remain they are the oldest people on Earth. And they say they've been on their land for over 10,000 years, as far back as they can remember. Notice that the Sans people have kinky, nappy, woolly, 9-ether hair. Alongside the San, we meet the second oldest people or tribe in the world, and they are the Twa man, also known as the Pygmy. Deep in Africa's rainforest, the Twa, or Twa peoples, original inhabitants with ancestry stretching back at least 160,000 years. The forest is their home, provider, and sanctuary. The Twa lived in symbiosis with Bantu neighbors, trading forest products for crops and iron. Their lifestyle was perfectly adapted to the rainforest: small, mobile groups, temporary shelters, and encyclopedic knowledge of plants and animals. Master hunters and gatherers, their spirituality and culture are deeply tied to the forest. The Twa is renowned for their polyphonic singing, music that reflects the spirit of the forest and is central to their rituals. The term pygmy typically refers to indigenous groups, primarily in Central Africa, known for their short stature. This term is often used as an umbrella term for various ethnic groups with an average adult male height below 150 centimeters, 4 feet 11 in. In anthropology, pygmy peoples are ethnic groups whose average height is unusually short. The term pygmyism is used to describe the phenotype of endemic short stature, as opposed to disproportionate dwarfism occurring in isolated cases in a population. The Twa, often referred to as Batwa or Mutwa, singular, are indigenous hunter-gatherer peoples of the Great Lakes region in Central Africa, recognized as some of the earliest inhabitants of the area. Historically and academically, the term pygmy has been used to describe these groups. However, it is considered derogatory, particularly by the Twa themselves. While some Batwa activists accept the term as an acknowledgement of their indigenous status, most prefer specific ethnic labels, such as Bambuti, for the Ituri Forest region in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Baka, Lobai Forest, Central African Republic, and Bambangel, Ndoki Forest, Congo-Brazzaville, and Central African Republic. The Twa people, also known as Batwa, are believed to be among the earliest inhabitants of Central Africa, with some estimates placing their presence in the equatorial forests for 60,000 years or more. They are considered one of the oldest indigenous groups in the region after the Sans people. It's said that the Twa people migrated over to the Americas with the Sans people thousands of years ago and populated the west coast of the Americas and later up and down the Mississippi, becoming your first Mississippians and also your Mayans in South America. Some say no, these people were over in the Americas first and then migrated west over to Africa. Also keep in mind, Africa wasn't called Africa at that time and America wasn't called America at the time. How do you know? Because it's not in the Sans or Pygmy people's language, that's how. Facts still remain. They're the second oldest tribe on the surface of the planet they're calling Earth, which was called Qi, pronounced Ki, and going back farther, Tiamat. They also were here before the Earth's pole shifted, according to some sources. They also can be classified as one of the groups of original ancient Egyptians. In the 20th century, conservation efforts led to their forced eviction from ancestral lands, leaving them landless and marginalized. Today, the Twa face poverty and discrimination, but fight to keep their culture alive and secure land rights. Their story is a lesson in the human cost of conservation when indigenous rights are ignored. The Tua's resilience and cultural richness endure despite immense challenges. They remind us of the importance of respecting indigenous peoples in environmental efforts. The Twa are the original voices of the rainforest. Notice that the Twa people have kinky nappy woolly 9 to 8 and 1/2 ether hair. The Sans people and Twa people begin marrying into each other and created a new tribe called the Dogon People. The Dogon tribe of Mali, West Africa, have a complex and fascinating origin story centered around a creator god named Amma and the ancestral spirits known as the Nomo. The Dogon tribe go back around 150,000 years ago. The Dogon migrated to West Africa from East Africa, Ethiopia. According to Dogon belief, Amma is the supreme being who initiated creation by transforming a single, undifferentiated mass into the universe, including the celestial bodies. One interpretation describes the universe beginning as a giant egg, which began to pulse and break open, scattering its contents to form galaxies of stars and planets. Amma is said to have created the sun and moon from disks of clay and the stars from pellets of earth thrown into space. The Namo are described as celestial beings, often with fish-like characteristics, who were sent to Earth by Amma to bring order to the world. The Dogon refer to them as masters of the water, monitors, and teachers. The Namo descended from the sky in a vessel and came down looking more human and mixed in with the Dogon people. They are believed to have imparted knowledge of agriculture, language, spirituality, and astronomy to the Dogon. A central element of the Dogon origin story is their connection to the Sirius star system. The Dogon believe the Namo came from this system, specifically from Sirius B, a star invisible to the naked eye. The Dogon's detailed knowledge of Sirius B's orbit and its characteristics has led to the Sirius mystery and debates about the source of their advanced astronomical understanding. Some speculate that they acquired this knowledge through contact with the Namo, while others suggest cultural exchange with Westerners or misinterpretations of their beliefs by anthropologists. The Nomo myth also includes a tale of a rebellion against Amma by one of the Namo, leading to a disruption of cosmic order. In response, Amma is said to have sacrificed another creature, scattering its body parts, which led to the creation of sacred shrines where they landed. This act is believed to have restored balance and order to the universe. It's important to note that the Dogon mythology is complex and can vary by region and dialect. The details presented here reflect common themes found in various accounts of their origin story and beliefs. The Dogon also migrated east through Asia with the Sans and Twa people over to the Americas. The Dogon can be classified as a part of the old Mississippians. There, they became later known as the Hopi. Some say they were in America first. There is evidence in the Grand Canyon of the Dogon in America, who are one of the original tribes of ancient Egyptians. The Dogon people said a group of fish beings who now looked more humanoid came down from Sirius B and began mixing with them. The Tutsi, also called Watutsi, or Abatutsi, Kinyarwanda pronunciation, are an ethnic group of the African Great Lakes region. They are a Bantu-speaking ethnic group and the second largest of three main ethnic groups in Rwanda and Burundi, the other two being the largest Bantu ethnic group, Hutu, and the Pygmy group of the Twa. The Watutsi are a cross between the Sans people, the dark-skinned Hindus, and the Anunnaki. They have a thick, woolly hair texture. They came down from the mothership Nibiru. They are from the Orion star system. Historically, the Tutsi were pastoralists and filled the ranks of the warriors caste. Before 1962, they regulated and controlled Rwandan society, which was composed of Tutsi aristocracy and Hutu commoners, utilizing a clientship structure. They occupied the dominant positions in the sharply stratified society and constituted the ruling class. The historian Christopher Ehret believes that the Tutsi mainly descend from speakers of an extinct branch of South Cushitic he calls Tail South Cushitic. The Tail Southern Cushites entered the Great Lakes region sometime before 800 BC and were pastoralists par excellence, relying only on their livestock and conceivably growing no grains themselves. They did not even practice the hunting of wild animals, and the consumption of fish was taboo and heavily avoided. The Tail Southern Cushitic way of life shows striking similarities to the Tutsi, who heavily rely on the milk, blood, and meat of their cattle and traditionally shun the cultivation and consumption of grains, and who look down on pottery, hunting, and avoid eating fish. A number of words related to pastoralism in the Rwanda-Rundi languages are Tail Southern Cushitic loanwords, such as bull, cow dung, and lion, a livestock predator. The Tutsi or Watutsi people have a complex history, with their presence in the region now known as Rwanda and Burundi, dating back at least several centuries, potentially as early as 130,000 BC. Some historical sources suggest that they migrated to the area as pastoralists around the 15th century, eventually establishing a dominant social and political structure. Archaeological evidence suggests the presence of tall, narrow-featured people in East Africa, including the area of Rwanda, dating back thousands of years. Some Wikipedia articles say Central Sudanic peoples, including farmers and herders, were present in the region by 3000 BC. Some people say that they populated up and down the Mississippi for 100,000 years before they went to Africa. The Watutsi made up one part of the old Mississippians. The Watutsi are also a part of the original ancient Egyptians. Historians and Wikipedia articles say the Tutsi arrived as pastoralists, likely from the north, around the 15th century, settling in what is now Rwanda and Burundi. Upon arrival, the Tutsi established a hierarchical society, with the Tutsi generally holding positions of power and authority over the Hutu and Twa populations. This social structure, based on cattle ownership and land control, persisted for centuries. During colonial rule, German and then Belgian, the existing social stratification was often reinforced and even formalized. The Tutsi have been involved in various conflicts and political shifts, including the Rwandan Civil War in the 1990s. In Tanzania's Great Rift Valley, the Dogon mixed back with the Twa and created another tribe called the Hadza. The Hadza are among the last true hunter-gatherers on Earth. Their DNA reveals an ancient lineage diverging from other humans up to 100,000 years ago. Men hunt with bows and arrows, often working with the honey guide bird to find beehives. Women and children are expert foragers, gathering tubers, berries, and baobab fruit. But their world is shrinking as their lands are encroached upon. The Hadza's resilience is a lesson for us all. The Hadza, also known as Hadzabe, are a Tanzanian indigenous ethnic group. They live in the Lake Eyasi region of northern Tanzania and are known for their unique language, Hadzane, which is classified as a linguistic isolate. Their traditional lifestyle centers around hunting and gathering with a deep knowledge of their environment and a strong emphasis on sharing resources. Their language, Hadzane, is a linguistic isolate, meaning it's not known to be related to any other language family. It's an oral language with no written form. Hadza society is known for its egalitarian and communal nature, with a strong emphasis on sharing resources, especially food. They possess extensive knowledge of their environment, including medicinal plants, animal behavior, and tracking skills. The Hadza have adapted to their environment, building temporary shelters and skillfully using tools like bows and arrows for hunting. Farmers, pastoralists, and cattle herders have encroached on Hadza land, leading to displacement and loss of territory. Contact with other cultures has led to some Hadza adopting Swahili as a second language and integrating into more settled lifestyles, which can impact their traditional practices. The introduction of modern technologies and practices can also pose challenges to their traditional way of life. The Hadza are of significant interest to anthropologists and researchers due to their unique hunter-gatherer lifestyle and their potential insights into human origins and early human behavior. Research on the Hadza diet and lifestyle has shown potential benefits for health and longevity, including lower rates of certain diseases found in industrialized societies. Organizations like the Nature Conservancy are working to support the Hadza in protecting their land and preserving their cultural heritage. There's growing awareness of the Hadza's situation, which is leading to increased support and efforts to ensure their survival and well-being. The Bantu people are a large group of African peoples who speak Bantu languages, a branch of the Niger-Congo language family. The Bantu come from the Watutsi and the Sans people mixing in, and then later the Twa and Dogon mixing in to create about 5 different tribes in South Africa. The Bantu are not a single unified group, but rather encompass hundreds of distinct ethnic groups spread across a vast area of sub-Saharan Africa, from West Africa to Southern and Southeast Africa. The Bantu people, originating from West Central Africa, began their expansion throughout the continent roughly 100,000 to 130,000 years ago. This expansion, which involved migrations eastward and southward, is considered one of the most significant demographic events in late Holocene Africa, reshaping the continent's linguistic, cultural, and biological landscape. The Bantu people are believed to have originated in West Central Africa, specifically around modern-day Nigeria and Cameroon. Around 90,000 to 120,000 years ago, they began migrating outwards in waves, moving east and south. This expansion led to the widespread adoption of Bantu languages and cultural practices across sub-Saharan Africa. The Bantu migration reached southern Africa approximately 100,400 years ago, displacing or integrating with existing indigenous populations. The Bantu are a part of the Olmec clan and the Olmec Mississippians. They also make up a part of the ancient Egyptians. Across the Indian Ocean, the Jarawa of the Andaman Islands have maintained isolation for tens of thousands of years. Descendants of the first modern humans to leave Africa, their ancestors arrived up to 90,000 years ago and developed a unique genetic and cultural heritage. The Jarawa live as nomadic hunter-gatherers, expertly adapted to the forest and sea, hunting, foraging, and fishing with bows and arrows. Their society is egalitarian, with communal living and a rich oral tradition. Their language is unique, shaped by millennia of isolation. In the late 1990s, some Jarawa began peaceful contact with outsiders, bringing both opportunities and grave dangers, especially disease and cultural disruption. The Andaman Trunk Road now threatens their territory, exposing them to exploitation and unwanted contact. The Jarawa's struggle is a fight for self-determination against the pressures of globalization. Their story is a stark reminder of the fragility of isolated cultures. The Jarawa are living windows into humanity's deep past. On North Sentinel Island, the Sentinelese remain the world's most isolated people, rejecting all contact for tens of thousands of years. They are likely direct descendants of the first human migrations out of Africa, living as hunter-gatherers in small family groups. These people are said to have migrated to the Americas and the islands with their ancestors, the Sans, Twa, Dogon and Watutsi and Bantu. Everything we know comes from distant observation. They hunt, fish, and fiercely defend their island. Their language and beliefs are a mystery, unintelligible even to neighboring Andamanese peoples. The Sentinelese have met every approach with hostility, a clear message: leave us alone. The Indian government enforces strict non-contact policies to protect them from disease and intrusion. The Sentinelese are a powerful symbol of human autonomy and the right to self-determination. Their existence is a blank space on our cultural map, a reminder that some mysteries should remain untouched. They show us that not all paths must lead to the globalized world. The Sentinelese are the ultimate guardians of their own story. In 2018, John Allen Chow, a 26-year-old American missionary, was killed by the Sentinelese tribe on North Sentinel Island. He had traveled to the island hoping to convert the Sentinelese people to Christianity. Can you believe that? The Sentinelese consider him to be evil, so they shot him on sight. The Sentinelese are an isolated tribe who have historically resisted contact with the outside world. It's illegal for outsiders to even approach North Sentinel Island due to the potential risks to both the tribe and the outsiders. The Sentinelese are particularly vulnerable to outside diseases due to their complete isolation, according to the BBC. According to fishermen who helped Chow reach the island, the Sentinelese shot him with arrows when he ventured ashore. They reportedly saw the tribesmen tie a rope around his neck and drag his body. Indian authorities registered a murder case against unknown tribesmen, but also stated there would be no repercussions against the islanders. Several individuals who aided Chow in reaching the island were arrested for violating the laws protecting the Sentinelese and their isolation. In southern India, the Dravidian peoples represent one of the subcontinent's oldest cultural and linguistic lineages, 70,000 to 60,000 years ago, when they came to Earth from the moon. They were originally from the star system you refer to as Procyon. They live on the fourth planet called Nirvana. Their languages, including Tamil, Telugu, and Kannada, are distinct from Indo-European tongues and point to an ancient presence predating Indo-Aryan arrivals. Some scholars link the Dravidians to the Indus Valley Civilization, one of the world's earliest urban cultures. Genetic studies reveal deep indigenous roots, especially among southern populations. The Tamil language boasts one of the world's oldest continuous literary traditions, with Sangam poetry dating back 2 millennia. Dravidian culture is a testament to historical continuity and adaptation. Their story reminds us that history is complex, a tapestry of interaction, persistence, and change. The Dravidian legacy thrives in the vibrant languages and traditions of southern India today. They came down and began mixing with different tribes on Earth. They have dark skin with straight 6 ether black hair, giving the straight hair genetic to the Earth humans. They also migrated with the other tribes, mixing in and moving west to Africa and east from India, through Asia, all the way over to the Americas. They mixed in with the Olmec, which were about 4 to 5 different tribes. In Australia, indigenous Australians represent the world's oldest continuous culture, with roots stretching back at least 50,000 to 60,000 years. Their ancestors were among the first to leave Africa, reaching the supercontinent of Sahul and adapting to every environment across Australia. Over 250 languages and countless cultural traditions flourished, each deeply connected to the land. Their spiritual life centers on the dreaming, an eternal dimension linking people, land, and ancestors. Ancient rock art, some over 40,000 years old, records their beliefs, history, and the animals of a vanished world. This art is a sacred library, a testament to cultural continuity and resilience. European colonization brought devastation, but indigenous Australians survived, fighting for recognition and land rights. Their story is one of survival, adaptation, and an unbreakable bond with the land. They are living custodians of the world's oldest story. Theirs is a profound narrative of endurance and wisdom. Indigenous Australians are the original inhabitants of Australia, encompassing both Aboriginal Australians and Torres Strait Islanders. They have lived on the continent for tens of thousands of years. In the 2021 census, 812,728 people self-identified as Indigenous, representing 3.2% of Australia's population. The term Aboriginal Australians refers to the diverse groups inhabiting the Australian mainland and many islands, including Tasmania. These are the indigenous people of the Torres Strait Islands, located between Queensland and Papua New Guinea. In the 2021 census, 812,728 people identified as Indigenous, marking a 25.2% increase since the 2016 census, according to the Wikipedia article. Indigenous Australians have a rich history and diverse cultures predating British colonization. They have faced significant challenges, including loss of land and cultural disruption. Indigenous Australians are not a homogeneous group. They comprise many different linguistic and territorial groups with unique cultures and traditions. In south-central Mexico, the Olmec emerged around 20,000 BCE as the mother culture of Mesoamerica. Some say the Olmecs go back millions of years in the Americas. They built complex urban centers like San Lorenzo and La Venta, with ceremonial mounds and advanced water systems. The Olmec are famous for their colossal stone heads, monumental portraits of rulers, carved from massive basalt boulders. Their art, including jade carvings and they were jaguar motif, expressed their cosmology and influenced later civilizations. The Olmec developed early writing and calendar systems and established long-distance trade networks. Their civilization mysteriously declined around 400 BCE, but their legacy endured. Olmec innovations in art, architecture, and religion shaped the Maya, Aztec, and others. They lit a cultural fire that burned across Mesoamerica for centuries. The Olmec are a cornerstone of New World civilization. Their story is one of creativity, influence, and enduring mystery. The Olmec are the old Mississippians. The Olmec were a mixture of tribes, like the Dogon, Bantu, Twa, and Sands. Then later the Hindu and Afar people came over to the Americas. These tribes migrated over to the Americas thousands of years ago, calling it Atland, as in Atlantis. In North America's river valleys, the Mississippian culture flourished from around 18,000 BCE, building monumental earth mounds. Cahokia, their largest city, rivaled London in size and featured Monk's Mound, bigger at its base than the Great Pyramid of Giza. The Mississippians were skilled farmers, artisans, and traders, supporting complex chiefdoms and social hierarchies. Their art and symbols, like the Southeastern Ceremonial Complex, reveal a shared cosmology across the region. The Mississippian centers declined before significant European contact, likely due to environmental and social upheaval. Their descendants are the modern Native American nations of the Southeast, who carry on the mound builders' legacy. The Mississippians show the heights of pre-Columbian civilization in North America. Their story is one of innovation, community, and enduring influence. The mounds remain as silent witnesses to their achievements. You have the old Mississippians, which are the Olmec. Some people have reason to think that the Sands people, Twa, Dogon, Watutsi, Bantu, made up the old Mississippians going back before they migrated to Africa over 90,000 years ago. They are believed to populate up and down the Mississippi River from top to bottom, ending in the Egyptian Gulf, which became known as the Gulf of Mexico later. The Mississippi ends in Old Nola, New Orleans, the intake for the land of Turtle Island. The new Mississippians are the product of these tribes from mixing together over periods of thousands of years. Also note that different tribes had different names for the Mississippi River. Most native names for the river translate into the Great River or the Red Nile. The Blue and White Nile is over in Africa. The Blue Nile and White Nile meet in Khartoum, Sudan. The Yellow River, also known as Huanghe, is the second longest river in China and the sixth longest river system on Earth. And the Green Nile, the Amazon, which now turned brown due to invaders and industrialization of the natives' environment. The old Mississippians became blacks, Negroes, and colored after the French started the Black Codes in 1724 Old Nola. Then they pushed harder for reclassification of the old Mississippians through the 1800s during the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. Their legacy lives on in the cultures of today. We will be giving both perspective in this migration theory, one where the humans migrated from Africa, and then one showing if they migrated from the Americas. Our story begins in Africa, the birthplace of every human alive today. For millions of years, our ancestors evolved here, learning to walk upright, make tools, and shape their world. Africa was our nursery, our universe, for an immense stretch of time. Imagine the savannas of East Africa, where Homo sapiens first opened their eyes. We were not alone, but we were different, capable of complex thought, language, and imagination. For a long time, Africa provided all we needed, but the human spirit is restless. Curiosity drove us to wonder what lies beyond the next hill. This urge to explore would one day send us across oceans and even to the moon. It all started with those first steps beyond our familiar African home. Climate shifts, resource changes, and growing populations pushed us outward. We stood on the edge of a great adventure, ready to write the first chapter of our global story. The journey would be long and difficult, but we were prepared. Our footprints marked the beginning of humanity's epic migration. Early human migrations are the earliest migrations and expansions of archaic and modern humans across continents. They are believed to have begun approximately 2 million years ago, with the early expansions out of Africa by Homo erectus. This initial migration was followed by other archaic humans, including H. heidelbergensis, which lived around 500,000 years ago, and was the likely ancestor of Denisovans and Neanderthals as well as modern humans. Early hominids had likely crossed land bridges that have now sunk. The primary and most widely accepted theory posits that modern humans, Homo sapiens, migrated out of Africa in a single major wave, roughly 60,000 to 100,000 years ago. This migration led to the global dispersal of humans across the globe. However, recent evidence suggests earlier, smaller migrations may have occurred as well. Smaller migrations may have occurred prior to this main wave, potentially as early as 120,000 years ago. These migrations likely followed routes through the Levant, near present-day Israel-Palestine, and along coastlines, with some groups reaching as far as Southeast Asia and Australia. As humans migrated, they adapted to new environments, developed new technologies like tools for hunting and clothing for colder climates, and interacted with other hominin species like Neanderthals. The timeline and specific routes of these migrations are still areas of active research and ongoing discovery. This theory is supported by genetic, fossil, and archaeological evidence. Genetic studies on modern human populations worldwide show that the greatest genetic diversity is found in Africa, suggesting that humans originated there. The primary migration is believed to have involved a relatively small group of humans, perhaps a few thousand, who left Africa and eventually populated the rest of the world. Evidence from sites like the cave in Laos and the site of Majid Bebe in Australia suggests that humans may have left Africa earlier than previously thought, possibly as early as 86,000 or 65,000 years ago, respectively. Migrants likely followed coastlines and river valleys, utilizing resources like shellfish and migrating animals for sustenance. The Red Sea crossing, potentially facilitated by lower sea levels during glacial periods, is considered a key early migration route. As humans migrated into Europe and Asia, they encountered Neanderthals and other hominin groups. Interbreeding occurred between Homo sapiens and black Neanderthals, and this genetic exchange influenced the genetic makeup of non-African populations. Humans adapted to new environments, developing tools and technologies to survive in different climates and landscapes. This included the development of clothing, more sophisticated hunting techniques, and the construction of shelters. Scientists continue to refine the timeline and details of human migration out of Africa through ongoing research and new discoveries. The out-of-Africa migration, around 60,000 years ago, changed everything. A small group left Africa never to return and became the ancestors of nearly everyone outside Africa today. Why did they leave? Climate, population, and curiosity all played a part. These pioneers faced unknown lands, new predators, and unfamiliar climates. Earlier migrations had failed, but this one succeeded. It was a story of trial and error, of courage and adaptation. This group had the right skills, technology, and luck to survive and thrive. Their journey led to permanent human settlement across the globe. Humanity's torch was carried into every corner of the earth. Our ancestors didn't wander aimlessly. They followed coasts and rivers, nature's highways. The coastline offered food and a clear path forward, while rivers provided water, game, and lush vegetation. By following these routes, early humans moved quickly into new lands. Along the way, they met other humans, Neanderthals and Denisovans. We didn't just compete, we interbred, leaving traces of their DNA in us today. Science now traces these journeys through genetics and archaeology, piecing together our shared past. Every new discovery adds detail to this epic story. The map of our migration is still being drawn. Our journey is a living document, revealing how we came to be everywhere on Earth. The world was vast, but our adaptability made it home. Our story is one of connection, movement, and discovery. Leaving Africa meant facing new challenges, adapt or perish. Intelligence and innovation became our greatest tools. We invented new technologies, better tools, clothing, and shelters. Mastery of fire and tailored clothing let us survive the cold. Our diet changed as we learned to hunt, fish, and gather in every environment. This flexibility allowed us to thrive from the Arctic to the Amazon. Over time, we adapted physically, skin color, body shape, and more, reflecting our environments. These differences are a testament to our adaptability. Our journey changed us, making us the ultimate survivors. Humanity's diversity is a living record of our global adventure. Imagine if humanity had begun in South America, not Africa. The migration story would be reversed. Humans spreading from the Americas to the rest of the world. The challenges, tools, and adaptations would be different, but the spirit of exploration would remain. This thought experiment highlights a profound truth. Our African origin connects us all. Every person on Earth is part of one extended family. Our diversity is a celebration of the many paths we took after leaving our ancestral home. The story of human migration is one of unity and variation. A single species, a million journeys. Our footprints across the world are the ultimate story of connection. From the Kalahari to the Andaman Sea, from Australia's rock shelters to North America's mounds, we've glimpsed humanity's deep past. These stories are interwoven threads in our shared human tapestry. Our understanding of this history is ever-evolving, shaped by new discoveries and the voices of living descendants. This journey is a call for respect and appreciation. These are living cultures, not relics. By honoring their history and protecting their rights, we enrich our understanding of what it means to be human. The story of humanity is still being written. Let's listen, learn, and celebrate our shared origins.